we spoke yesterday about using a beaglebone black, and today I'm just going to look at, probably, they're not related in any way, but it's basically a little brother, which is the first one that we started to use in the community. It's called Raspberry Pi. Effectively, best explained as a mini computer. You can hook a screen up to it, you can hook a keyboard, and effectively use it as a little Linux computer. We can use these in two ways. It's not quite as good as a beaglebone, but for what I do, it's extremely powerful. I use this little boy here. This is my show computer at the moment. So there's $50 worth of show computer. Previously, I used the laptop. As you know, I run LSP, very resource-hungry program. $1,700 laptop, run the show. So it's been replaced by a $50 piece of equipment. Okay, so these are gold. Yeah, $35, yeah, whatever they are, yeah. So pretty much once you get your USB stick, your SD card, your pretty little case, under $100 still. Okay, and we'll all get the links off of each other. There's just everywhere. Yep, I get ones of those. So
I'll back Steve up on that. Yeah, that computer's sitting on the desk. That's my normal show computer. It has been for a number of years. 16 gig of RAM, 8-core processor, all this solid state drives. Yeah. It's not cheap.
Yep.
I ran my show on a Pi last year.
Yep.
Because I couldn't run it on fix it.
Yeah, so to give you an idea what I do with this little thing, I have one of these parked outside. As you know, later on I'll be doing my projection talk for the house projection. Basically, I had a projector box that I built out the front in the front garden. It housed the projector. It housed the Raspberry Pi, an FM transmitter, and a small network switch. So 4 or 5 items in there, all jammed inside the lid, one power cord, done. This little bugger here, hooked up to, this is the projector that I do actually use for projection. We'll go into that one later. But this little thing at about 6:30 at night, it'd power that up, turn it on automatically at 6:30. 5 minutes later, my PowerPoints would turn on. After that, the show would commence. The show would run. This would run my light sequence, and it would also run my video projection. So it was plugged into HDMI onto the video projector, and it would run the whole house. 10 o'clock at night, shut it down. I'd come home. And flawless. Yep, bulletproof. So this is a very old version. I'm going to pass this one around. You'll see basically what we need to know about it is it has a Ethernet port on it, RJ45 plug, USB, our actual media, so our light sequences and our MP3 files if you're just running a music show, or our MP4 files if you're running video, go onto our USB stick. Our SD card is basically the operating system for the Pi. We saw it briefly yesterday. I'll have it up there. FPP is the program that the guys in America wrote for it. So that's basically the operating system. That's an old one. You can't buy them anymore, but still does me proud. This is a newer one. Differences with this, 4 USB ports on it. No yellow composite video, but pretty much the same thing. Can't pull that one apart. You don't need to see it. It's got screws in it, so that's fine. But yeah, the only difference is it's just got the HDMI, faster processing and all that. And that one is actually nearly redundant as well. There's nearly not many of those in stock. I tried to buy one a couple of weeks ago. I know Damien at Christmas Creations bought a few after the Brisbane Mini, and he said there was a few left, so he got them. But basically now there's another version, the Pi 2. Yeah, so the Pi 2, same animal, just better again. It'll just keep getting better and better. Okay, so basically what we need to do with a Raspberry Pi, when we get it out of the box, I'm going to go through a couple of little tools and a website. Hopefully I've still got internet here. No, I think I've got to disconnect that. All right. So another forum that you'll actually have to start looking at or get your information from is the Falcon Christmas site. These are the guys that developed the software for the Pi. These are the guys that developed all those updates and things for Daryl's Beaglebone Black. So these are the guys that have got all the software on it. Now, inside this forum here, there's a FPP, Falcon Player. And inside the top here, we've got installation video tutorials by Alan Dale. Now, that'll take us through to like a range of probably 4 YouTube videos. Follow it. Just follow it. You'll need an SD card, you'll need a Pi, you'll need your power supply, you'll need a USB stick, and the instructions are there how to actually put the program onto the SD card, plug it in, and away you go. Very important that you do follow it. Basically, the procedure is there's special tools that you use to format those cards. There's special ways to format those SD cards. You're pretty much just copying an image file on there, so all the files that you download from FPP, you're just copying them over, plugging it into the Pi, powering it up, make sure it's plugged into a network, which I'm going to do now. Now, the difference between having one that's been installed and one that is fresh out of the box and you've only plugged the SD card in for the first time is about 20 minutes setup time. This will take about 20 minutes to get all of its gear together and work itself out, basically. This one has already got the software on it. It's already been worked. First time you use a Pi, as I said, you'll need a power supply. You'll need to plug it into your home network. You won't need a HDMI cable, but I'm going to plug one in anyway, so you can see what it is doing. Most important thing is you'll need a set of speakers. Okay, you'll want a set of speakers. That's probably the one thing that people don't realise that you do really need. What actually happens is, if you are familiar with your E131 controllers, which a lot of us are, you log into them using an IP address. We will be able to see the IP address on this one because I've got it hooked up to a monitor, but generally you won't. What happens is once this thing starts up, it'll announce the IP address at the end of it. So it'll say, I have found the following IP address. We can then type that, and I'm going to actually start that now. So it starts up, it takes about a minute to start up. I'm just going to power that up.
Steve, for anyone who doesn't have a set of speakers at home,
we'll go through those tools in a sec.
Hey?
Well, I'll go through those tools in a sec.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, grab your headphones from your phone or your media player, plug them in, they'll work.
Alright, so yeah, I have hooked it up to a monitor, so you will actually see what the Pi is doing. This isn't critical, but if you have a TV and you want to set it up and watch it, you can. Because basically if you get any errors, especially in that 20 minutes is a long time, and a lot of people will go nah and unplug it, and then you're going to go and start again. If you get a problem with this thing not starting, I've done it many times too, Phil. If you get a problem with this thing not starting, and you can't see the problem on the screen, you reformat it. You don't just reinstall that image file, you reformat the SD card and start at instruction 1. And sometimes you even need to go further back from that. If you've got a faulty SD card, get another one, try it. Your SD card, get a good SD card, good SanDisk. You only need about 4 gig or something like that, I think.
Yeah, hard to find 4 gig, but 4 gig, 8 gig.
I know,
Whatever. Get a decent one.
The address is 192, 168.10.
Okay, so the one that we want is the 33.9. Yeah, it's up there, yeah, so we can actually see that. We're on 2 networks here, so it's picked up both networks. So we got 192.168.33.57. Sorry. Alright, so I've just typed that into my web browser. Oh, no, stop. I'll have to restart that. No, I won't. Just type that in there. I'll have to just, I'll unplug it. There we go. Yeah, it helps if you plug the network into the computer. Okay. So this is pretty much a version of what you saw yesterday with Darryl playing, the Falcon Pi Player user interface, we'll call it. So by typing in that IP address, I've logged into the Falcon Pi, and this is the software that we're using to run it. Basically, most of us started using the Falcon Pi Player just as a scheduler because we ran out of options with our various sequences, not being able to run a scheduled show. So this sort of option came up, and it was all good. Okay, so we've typed our IP address in, we've got our Falcon Pi user interface up. What I'm going to show you today is based on is based on what I have to do. I'm not going to go through the whole process because not everyone uses Lightshow Pro, but effectively it's the same procedure. I do have extra work to do with converting Lightshow Pro over to Falcon Pi as opposed to Vixen, which I believe is a straight export, and Law is either a straight export or a very easy import through Xlights. I have to use Xlights as a converter to basically take my sequences from an MSQ file in Lightshow Pro to a FSEQ file, which is your Falcon show. So basically, what I've got here is I've got my we've got a string of 50 hooked up here about 3 or 4 times.
Round the front of the
yeah, round everywhere. So basically, this is my sequence that I did on the plane, and if I hit play on that, that should actually probably work. Yeah. Okay. See if I can get some volume out of that. All right, so basically we've got all of our program in our lighting in our lighting software ready to go. So for me, it's a case of I just go into export. I export it as a conductor sequence. I've done all that already. It takes about 3 seconds to do it. You just got to. It's probably the biggest problem is working out where you have sent it. I've sent it into this Adelaide mini file. So what we actually need to achieve out of the whole the process of getting our software from our lighting sequences to our Falcon Pi is we need a couple of things. So for now we'll just talk about a normal light show, which is based on an MP3. and sequence. Okay, so pretty much the same MP3 that you're using in your lighting software will be the same MP3 that you use on your Falcon Pi Player. In here, my MP3 file is Eve's demo, and my FSEQ file that I've converted from Lightshow Pro is also called Eve's demo. So basically, I've got my two files there ready to go. I'll need that open still. Alright, back to our user interface. Okay, just a couple of a quick tour of a Falcon Pi Player. Basically, we have a status control tab at the front there. This is the one where you can just basically pick a playlist from it and play it live once it's loaded on there. So we don't need that one yet. Our content setup is what we'll be using very shortly. There's a file manager section in there. Sequences, you can see my two sequences there that I've got. So Eve's demo is already in there. I'll delete that. Audio, I'll delete that. And there's a video tab as well. And if you're running videos, basically like this afternoon when you see my video projection talk, instead of using an MP3 file, I just use an MP4 file. So my whole sequence is just based on a music video instead of a music file. So what we need to do here is we basically need to import our FSEQ file and our MP3 file that I used in Lightshow Pro into the Pi Player. We'll pull in we're on the sequence tab at the moment, and just minimise that screen. I've got my folder over to the side there. That's got my two files in it that I need to import. Oops. Okay, so you can see most of it there. Alright, so this upload files section down the bottom here is the one that I want to look at. And I'll do the sequence first so that you don't need to be checked on these tabs, but obviously if we're checked on it we will see the sequence pop up in there. So I'll just click and drag my Eve's file over into the select files or upload files department, and you can see that's loaded that onto that Pi already in about half a second flat. Okay, so that's there ready to go. I'll just duck over to audio. Where'd my audio file go? I've deleted it. Here we go. Eve's demo audio, so that's an MP3 file. I'll just pop it down to that same select file, upload files folder. Bang, there it is, done. Okay, so now within my content setup tab, I have a file called Eve's demo, which is my Lightshow Pro converted sequence. In my audio, I have evesdemo.mp3. Doesn't need to be the same name. It doesn't care. We're going to set up a playlist for it. But if they are the same name, it will automatically select the right MP3 file for that folder. Next in the content there, I'm just going to go down to playlist. This is where you'll set up your playlist. Got one there for Mini. I'll just delete. I'll type in a name there, so we'll go Mini Demo. This will be my playlist. I'll go Add. Now down in our playlist details, you'll see we've got a couple of options here. Our type, we've got Media and Sequence. We will be using Media and Sequence now because we want lights and music to our display. Some other ones are Media only. I have a second projector in my house. It's hooked up to its own little Raspberry Pi. It has Virtual Santa running on it. It does the same thing. It starts up at 6 o'clock, turns the projector on, puts Santa onto the window, and does its own thing happily. That's a media only. Sequence only, self-explanatory, an animated sequence without music. And the rest we don't really need to know about.
Plugins are good.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about plugins and all that. No, that's advanced stuff. I use events, obviously. Yeah, plugins, things like that. You can use all sorts of things on them, but we're not about the advanced stuff, I don't think, at the moment. So we're going to do a media in sequence. Our media file is the one called Eve's Demo MP3. There it is, and you'll see that's automatically selected the FSEQ file associated with that. We'll hit the Add button. Down the bottom here is basically our review. If we were to select another one and add that, you'd see that we're starting to create a playlist. So I don't need that. I'll just go delete. Oh, I've deleted the wrong bit. Mini demo. Add. So, okay. I should have hit the remove button, not the delete button. So I've just created a playlist called Mini Demo. It consists of.
Telephone
Who told me not to do that? It consists of our two files that we're ready to go. So that's loaded onto that Pi, ready to go. That Pi's out in my front yard. I'm out the front on my Wi-Fi network with my laptop, sitting across the road, ready to have a look at it. So all I need to do now is just go into my status control, into my status page. This is after we've set up all of our outputs and things like that, which I will touch on. So this is our status control page. You can see I've got my list of playlists there. Our mini demo is the one that we want to look at. Oh no, I haven't gone to status control yet. Yeah, there we go, over to status page. That's the one we want. So mini demo, you can see that our file is there that we've set up. This is just a live play. This isn't your schedule or anything like that. This is just to play with it. I'm just going to put that on repeat. And I'll hit the play button. Now out of that Pi, we should get lights, and the speakers are plugged into that Pi. So that is my light show running. Yeah, so this show was just set up as a demo. It's just, I originally did it on 50 section RGB strip. We just hooked it up to a set of 2811 bulbs or whatever they are that Phil's got hooked up over there. So basically, so it was pretty easy for us to set it up. Phil told me that the lights that I'm using today are Universe 1. In my controller software, Universe didn't matter, as long as it's also based off of what Universe 1 is in Phil's controller. His start channel is obviously channel 1 for that universe. So therefore I only needed channels 1 to 150 in Light Show Pro to talk to those lights. So if I had my start channels in Light Show Pro or any of my sequences and the start channel was 1000, we're not going to get any lights. But we just basically need to marry up on a spreadsheet. We need to marry up all of our start channels. Our second universe will be based on what the second universe is in Phil's controller. So if he sets his universes up as channels 1 to 510, Universe 2 will start at 511. So therefore, once I get 510 channels in Light Show Pro, it's just 1 to a million channels. There's no universe, there's no nothing. It's just channel numbers, sequential channel numbers.
while you've got that screen up,
Yeah,
Steve,
sure.
I must say one thing. You know how you get cars that, like the young teenagers with some of them dush cars? It does nothing.
Doof, mate, not
Yeah,
douche. Doof.
It annoys the neighbours to high heaven,
Yeah.
and to keep the neighbours happy, I just turn down the volume, and normally within about 30 seconds of the volume being turned down, that car leaves and I just crank it back up.
The beauty of your Falcon Pi Player is we've logged into this page here. I run I run mine on an external network from my home network out the front. It consists of the basis of my network outside consists of an old ADSL1 Wi-Fi router that was destined for the tip. So basically there's 4 ports on the back of that. One's going to my Pi, the other's most likely going out to a network switch. So that's got Wi-Fi on it, so I can stand across the road with my laptop. When the show is running, I can actually stop a playlist on the iPad. All I'm doing is opening up Safari on the iPad or Google Chrome or whatever you got. Doesn't matter what machine it is, iPhone, Samsung Galaxy. You're typing in an IP address, you're accessing that Falcon Pi, and you're just using it as a remote control jukebox. So basically, if I wanted to change my sequence out the front or turn the whole show off early, I can go up to projector off, I can hit that, I can hit play, and that'll turn my show down. If you've got 2 or 3 playlists in there, I actually, yeah, you can like fast forward, select a song, whatever you want to do. It's not. You do have to stop the show, select a new one, and start it. These Falcon guys, there's been a lot of talk of jukebox user interfaces and things like that. I don't know whether I've got it on this version. They have one called Big Green Button. So basically you can pull that out and we can go mini demo out the front. That can be loaded up on your iPad. You can walk up to the first 8-year-old girl you see and say press that button and she's started frozen. And be blown away by it, basically. So this big green button works. I think it's still got a couple of bugs in it. I'm pretty sure if you press it once and then press it again, it will stop the show. So I think there's got to be some more parameters built in there that they can sort of have a period where it does nothing after it's been pressed the first time or something. I personally don't use it, but it was put in there purely for like the ABC Christmas Lights show or whatever. One of the Falcon blokes was out the front, press this button, light the show up, everyone's happy. So a very basic start button. But I think eventually they'll have a jukebox, whereas you can either set up an iPad. I've got an old Fuji photo processor kiosk at home that has a touch screen on it. So if I ever had a jukebox, that would be sitting in my front yard, and people would select their song that they want to play off a touch screen. Things like that. So that's basically the basics of your Raspberry Pi. Just in our channel set up there. Basically, I've only got one universe set up in here today. If I wanted to set 8 up, I just type in 8, and they're all ready to go anyway. I'm multicasting today, so it doesn't matter what IP address it is. It's just sending out universe 1 to 512. So if my controller is happy to receive channels 1 to 512, it'll fire up and away it'll go.
Steve, do you want to duck over to dot 53 on another tab? Uh, 52, sir.
Yep.
That's the current beta build of version 2. Essentially looks exactly the same. But if you have a look at that one's got nothing configured.
As for the BBB
B131.
Oh, is it different, is it?
That's right, so I've got nothing configured on that one. So we've got a few of them set up here. I think the other one's 54, Steve. No, okay, we're not going to find it. I was looking for the one.
A couple of tools, guys. Couple of tools that most of us have sort of picked up over time. Just on a little side one. I use this one here, NetScan. It's a great little free tool. Basically, if we've got 3 or 4 pies, which we do at the moment, I have 3 or 4 pies in mine. You can go into the setup page of the pie and name it. So you can name it. Phil's got a couple of his names in here, so we will actually see it. This is a network scanner, so basically our network here today is 192.168.33. Probably starts at 1, probably finishes at 255, but I know that most of the stuff that we want is in that 52 to 60 mark. So basically I've got a start range. Most of you guys will have 192, 168.1 or 0.0 or 10.10. Whatever. So you need to know what your IP range is. As I said, my range for here is 52 to 60, and that covers our equipment here. If I go start scan, it'll start to scan everything that's on that network, and you'll see them start to throw up. So there's our Beaglebone Black, which is
the one we want. Yeah, 52.
somewhere.
That's the one sitting behind my
Yep.
matrix there.
P12 Unit 1 is the lights I'm using today, hooked up to here. That's Phil's controller. FPP is the default name, because I only loaded that one up last night, so I haven't changed the name on that. So that's that white one there. And there's my PC. Yeah, so obviously if you do a full network scan, 1 to 255, everything will show up on it. Very good tool. So basically from here, if I go, yep, I forgot that 57 mark, I can actually right click on that, open computer as web, and that'll actually open up my Falcon page as well. So I don't even have to really go into Firefox or Internet Explorer to open it up.
I would highly recommend that everyone name their pies.
Yeah, name them.
Once you got models, name them.
Yeah, that one used to be called Projector Box, and my other one was called Virtual Center. So that way, if I did have to log into it, you'll see up the top there it says host. What was your other?
Go 52, mate.
52. So, where's the name? Settings. Network.
You still on yours?
Must be.
No, you're on that. That's interesting. Host name's coming up.
Yeah, you haven't changed it.
I did.
No,
We found a bug, Steve.
found it. That's the
Oh,
bigger
that's
button.
BBB though.
That's the bigger button.
That's it, 52.
52.
Yeah. You're right.
And they don't always save everything.
Yeah, it's reporting it correctly
Mm.
through the host on there.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
if
alright.
you go to the Pi 2 Unit 1, that should come up.
P12.
Correct.
That's a,
That's Pi.
oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, right, there we go.
So the host
Alright, so the host name.
Yeah.
Pi 2 unit 1. So basically we've gone into network,
Fine.
down the bottom there, host name, we've changed our host name, we've saved it, rebooted it, all the rest of it, and it should show up in our net scan as Pi 2 unit 1. Okay, net scan, great little tool. iPhone, out in the field, there's one that I use called Fing, F-I-N-G. That's a great one, does the same. If you're out in the field, you don't know your IP address, or you've tripped over a cord and you're not even sure if it's plugged in anymore because it's in a sealed box and you can't see the little lights flashing, download Fing, do a network scan on that. It will automatically, it needs Wi-Fi obviously, so if you're not on Wi-Fi, don't bother. But basically it'll auto-detect your network that it's on, and it'll do a full scan of everything that's on there. I believe, well, yeah, I'm not on the Wi-Fi here, so I'm not going to bother, but I believe it comes up with the host names as well. If not, you should be familiar enough that you know that your controller or your Pi is .52, so if you see it on that thing, you're good to go. You can log in, or go and rip the lid off and check the cable. If it's not on the network, so if it's not in network scanner, it's not plugged in, or there's a problem with your cable, go and find it. Another quick tool, most of you are familiar with, DAE 131. Phil yesterday used Vixen to do testing. I use DAE 131, it's a standalone program on DA Share. Basically we've got a settings tab and we've got a slider tab. We do up to 12 universes at a time. Again, I'm just using multicast. So basically I'm setting our start universe as 1, our end universe is 7. Full range of channels between 1 and 255. No, how many channels have we got? 512. So universe is 512. Don't know what I'm talking about. Enabled. Multicast, so it's just going to send anything that's plugged into universe 1 to 7, it's going to light up. So basically, whatever we've got set up as universe 1 to 7, it's going to light up. Over here, we've got single RGBs. This is a good way to test what configuration your Ray Woos are.
I'm going to see if I can change those on the fly.
Yeah, we've got RGB in front of us here because I've hit the red button. It's come up with R. These B. So these are probably BGR or BRG. So we'll just test it. We'll go green. They're right. They're right. We'll go red. Sorry, blue. Yeah, so they're BGR, those ones, and these are RGB. So Phil's got to either change that in his, what do you got? What's that called?
That's like we control.
So Falcon.
Bring it up to sharp on this. Bring it up.
What?
52.
Just go to .53.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. 53. Right, so this is just the interface we've seen yesterday with the Falcon board. I'm plugged into port 1, 1203 pixels there. I've previously been testing some BGRs on it, so I've got that round the wrong way. Save that. A bit of luck there, and I'll run you.
Go back to DAE 131. We'll hit the red button. So we're all good to go. So a couple of testers in here are your chaser function. You've got groupings on there. You'll either use RGB, which will just go RGB. Great for standing out the front of the house and going, right, that's right, that's right, that's BGR. We've got one bulb there that I replaced yesterday. It's different, so I need to go in and adjust that in my software. So you've got your RGB grouping, pause it. Scoot this one over there, turn up the brightness. Or a grouping one, which will basically do every channel at 210 milliseconds. So that'll go through your whole 512 channels or whatever you've set up. So we make that go a little bit faster. Obviously these are going to go blank after 150 because there's only 150 in there. But basically that's the tester that I use. If you can't, just getting, I know most of you are all over your software, but if you are getting into pixels, you need to use test software to get your lights to work first. Do not try and get them working in LAW, Vixen or LSP until you can see it going in that program. If you can't get it going in that program, you're not going to get it going in your computer software. So that is an absolute resource tool that you must have. So between those two there, my DE131 and my NetScan, they're my two biggest tools that you must have on your computer when you're doing E131 setup. That's about it for the Pi. Obviously, if there's anything that we need to brush over, let me know, and I can explain stuff to you.
So theoretically, the beagle bones, much and muchness to set up.
Same. I believe it'd be exactly the same. Yeah, I don't know the actual. I've got a beagle bone at home. I haven't hooked it up yet. I haven't got it out of the box. But same FPP software. I'm presuming the setup of the SD card is probably the same. Yeah.
It will be the same when they release the image for it, which is due, I don't know, wherever it's about a month, isn't it, Darryl?
I'll show you what.
Yeah.
I'll show you what an image file looks like. I've got it. This has been the image for Falcon. So there's a couple of releases there, but version 1 is the latest one. So I'm just going to highlight those, copy my computer. I've got the SD card from that Pi plugged into my computer. I'm going to, it'll come up as G drive or whatever. I'm just going to click on that G drive, paste it onto that SD card directly. That takes 2 seconds. Once those files are there, you've got to plug it in, network it, power it up, speakers on, wait for it to talk to me. If it doesn't talk to me, there's a problem, or I'm impatient. Usually the latter. Yeah.